and we are delighted to once again host our monthly MOBIO Breakthrough series. MOBIO Breakthrough has had Dave Alberti from InnovaPrep and Ed Tim from Mobius Odologics last month, and we've already had several others raise their hand and say, hey, we'd like to be part of this in the future. And we thought when we were looking at the new offering from PSC Biotech that's available to all MOBIO members, that that they already had some Missouri clients and they were well known in the field, that this too would fit in really well with this program. And we are delighted to have Jasmine Show from, I believe, out in Pomona?
Yeah, located right outside Los Angeles.
Okay, well, we've got a California, Missouri, and it's just outside Jefferson City, and we'll have to host you there at Burger Smokehouse sometime and get some of the world's finest ham, smoked ham there. Bacon. And bacon too. They have like 6 different kinds of bacon. So Jasmine, if you go into your presentation, and again, as a reminder, I'm probably going to, for cut down on noise, I'm going to flow to audio only, and then Peter Fry from Bio is going to wrap up with some closing comments. Michelle is going to monitor the chat room for our participants and feed me any questions that come up, and I will be here and monitoring, or maybe you can chat independently with me. Thanks so much, Jasmine.
Thank you so much. And as Kelly kindly mentioned, we are from PSC Biotech, and I will be bringing up our presentation in a second. We have 2 presenters today. It's going to consist of Brandon Clough and Thomas Tschirhart. Just share this in presenter mode, and you have it ready, Brandon.
Alrighty, thank you. Can you hear me? All right, perfect. So hi everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity to really go through our solutions that we have available to the Bio members, and really go through the offerings that can, we believe, help a lot of organizations accelerate their success. My name is Brandon Clough. I actually live in St. Louis, Missouri. I was born and raised in Kansas, moved went to Rockhurst University up in Kansas City. So I know the Missouri area extremely well since I lived there. But I'll go through basically our company history very briefly, and then I'll hand it off to Thomas, and then he'll go through our software solutions, and then I'll go over our professional services at the end. And like what Kelly was saying, if there's any questions, feel free to either put those into the chat, and we have some people online to kind of watch those and help bring those to the forefront. Or if needed, you know, we can discuss all the questions at the end and kind of jump back into any slide that is of relevance. So with that, Jasmine. So history-wise, we started back in 1996, really as a professional service company, focusing in on life science and how we can help them get their product to market from an engineering standpoint and also from a quality standpoint, providing basically consultants. Then in 2009, that was really when we started our software solution team, focusing in on Audit Utopia, developing that software for inspections. And Thomas will go into greater detail about Audit Utopia. In 2014 is when we developed and launched our ACE product, which is Adaptive Compliance Engine, and it's a full electronic quality management system. And Thomas will go into greater detail soon on that also. And then in 2019, we really saw a need for small to mid-sized companies needing a turnkey solution for electronic quality management system. So ACE, what was developed in 2014, was a completely configurable system for clients. ACE Essentials is a turnkey solution that comes fully validated and is really geared to help those smaller to mid-sized companies become compliant with the FDA regulations. So with that, Jasmine, if you can move forward. This gives an overview of all of our locations. We work with over 1,000 clients worldwide in over 30 countries. And just within the Midwest, we have an office right here in St. Louis, Missouri that I sit at. We're in the Cortex Center downtown area. But we also have on the phone is Monica Short, who's our business development person that covers all of Missouri, Kansas, everywhere, the whole Midwest region. And you can see that our headquarters in Pomona, California, but we also have offices up and down the coastline, Midwest, and the East Coast. And we've seen a great surge in growth within the last really 2 years, where we have opened more offices in the 2-year span than we had altogether prior to that, 20 plus years. These are the industries that we serve, so all the way from biotech to medical device, food and beverage, cosmetics, biologics, a wide range. Nutraceuticals is a big one that continues to grow. So we do have either our consulting wing that is working in with organizations in these fields, and or our software is being used by clients throughout the globe that deal with these types of industries. This kind of just gives you a real brief overview of the client base that we work with. So from small startup companies to extremely large top 3 pharmaceutical companies in the world. So we have really been there and seen almost anything and everything an organization might go through. So I'll hand it off to Thomas. He'll go into details about each one of the software solutions. And these are at a discounted rate for bio members. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. And afterwards, if you are interested in getting a demo set up to further explore these solutions, we can do that also. So Thomas, with that, I'll hand it off to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brandon. Hey everyone, my name's Thomas. I'm a business development manager with PSC Software, based out of Houston, Texas, covering the central US, but also have clients up on the East Coast and on the West Coast as well. So pretty broad area. I'm going to be talking about our 3 softwares today. We're going to be starting with ACE Essentials, then moving on to the full ACE platform, and then wrapping up with Audit Utopia. So here on the right, and I think this is a really good slide, just to kind of, keep it straight, where we roughly see these products falling into the market. So ACE Essentials is, as Brandon said, a fully pre-configured, pre-validated software solution for, startup, small to mid-sized biotech, pharmaceutical, medical device companies. Really, it's got everything that company is going to need to be compliant right out of the box. So they don't really need to have that really, deep quality experience. We took all of our experience through, our professional services group, as well as our history providing software. And we really set up all of that configuration, validation, and all those things so that ACE Essentials really is a turnkey solution. ACE, on the other hand, is targeted more for those larger companies. So as we have a smaller company, hey, they're growing, their needs are changing, and likely what's happening is they need the system to fit into their process rather than a smaller company that maybe doesn't have a unique process, but it's okay for them to fit into the pre-configured ACE Essentials system. So ACE is really, fully open, fully configurable to fit the company's exact needs. And then Audit Utopia, it kind of runs the gamut depending on the size of the company or what phase they're in. It's really a very targeted solution for inspection management. So that's, when we have a regulatory agency on site, or maybe it's a client audit, for example, if we're in the case of a CMO, they're going to be using Audit Utopia to manage those inspections. So as we move forward one slide, we'll talk a little bit about what is all kind of wrapped in and included in with ACE Essentials. So really there are three key pillars to ACE Essentials. Those are those three hexagons we have up at the top right. The first is document management. So managing the writing, revising, approving, and issuance of all of our standard operating procedures, policies, any other type of controlled document. Then very tightly bound into the management of the controlled documents is our learning management, our training system. So, hey, maybe we have that standard operating procedure. We need to issue that for training. We need to track our users. Have they completed their training? And then we need the system to automatically reissue that training after a period of 12 months, 18 months, whatever makes sense for that particular document. And then lastly, that third pillar is quality management. So the ability to track any CAPAs, deviations, complaints, things of that nature, to ensure that, hey, we're doing all the right things from the quality side, as well as the documentation and learning management sides. So here we have a couple of bullet points laying out a few things about ACE Essentials. Really what I like to point out is that ACE Essentials does allow for companies to have multiple sites, allowing the segregation, basically, of documents, quality events, training, based on sites. ACE is fully validated right out of the box. So that's the install, operation, and performance qualification for the whole system, turnkey, no validation really needed. And then the one thing that is always important to point out, and I probably should have said this before, all three of our softwares are cloud-based. So ACE Essentials, ACE, and Audit Utopia are all hosted in the cloud with Amazon Web Services. Really what that's meaning is, hey, for the companies using the system, you don't need to have your own servers. You don't need to have an IT guy to manage those. And for the users, hey, you can access ACE Essentials, ACE, or Audit Utopia really anywhere you have an internet connection. Laptop, tablet, mobile phone, it doesn't matter. As long as you can get to your login page with the internet or data, hey, you can log in to sign for documents, do training, etc. There on the right side, one thing that we really, heard when we were first developing Audit Utopia and ACE was you got to have an intuitive user interface. It really drives adoption of the system, and it reduces training time and costs. So the user interface is something that we really spent a lot of time and thought putting together. And so, in the later demonstration, I'd be happy to show that, what that looks like. Of course, we do provide technical support included in the licensing cost. So that's technical support, maintenance, upgrades to every future version of ACE Essentials, ACE, or Audit Utopia. And then lastly, there on the right, in addition to providing that whole validated electronic system, we're also providing a number of pre-written documents, basically as drafts, right out of the box. A number of policies, standard operating procedures, quality manual, where, hey, that company that's using ACE Essentials can look at that document. If it works, great, let's make it effective, maybe issue some training. If not, hey, we can revise that document, then make it effective, issue training, or we don't have to use that document at all. But knowing that a number of companies, hey, maybe they don't have a lot of these policies or SOPs formalized, we went ahead and got all those written down, basically into a draft version of those documents. And in fact, as we move forward one slide, we're going to be able to see the different types of workflows. So basically everything that can be performed in ACE Essentials along the left are deviations, CAPAs, change controls, and controlled documents. And then on the right, we can see the different types of controlled documents that we're able to make. So not only can you just make a standard operating procedure, a policy, for example, you can also enter, validation documents, design review, inputs and outputs, all as individual document types, kind of all coming up underneath that master controlled document project, basically. Moving one slide forward, we're going to be able to see some of these policies and reference documents that are included right out of the box. Where again, hey, a lot of these are kind of generic. The point being that, that startup company doesn't have to spend time or effort or money thinking about or writing any of these policies or documents, like a privacy policy and email policy, for example. We have a number of these all pre-written following industry standards, uploaded as a draft right away. Hey, if it works, great. If not, let's revise it. Moving one slide forward, we're also going to be able to see a number of those standard operating procedures that we have included. I'm not going to run through the full list, but again, I just want to point out, hey, use of ladders, bloodborne pathogen, purchase orders, a number of these, kind of more generic baseline SOPs, fully pre-written and included right out of the box. So that kind of wraps up ACE Essentials. Again, that fully pre-configured, pre-validated software, really targeted for the smaller or startup biotech med device companies. The full ACE platform is a far more open system, extremely configurable. Our whole intention behind developing ACE was, let's get the software to fit into the company's needs rather than the other way around, because that would just be the tail wagging the dog, and that makes no sense. Of course, hey, as I've said before, fully cloud-based tablets, mobile devices, access ACE anywhere. But really one of the key differences between ACE Essentials and ACE is that configurability, which allows ACE to not only perform our document management, training, and quality, but also supplier auditing, hosting inspections, regulatory inspections as maybe that agency's on site, as well as a number of different things which we're going to see moving forward here. So going back, one thing I've mentioned a couple of times is configuration, right? So what does that mean? What do I mean when I'm saying configuration? So on this slide, what we have is an example of a workflow, right? We have some steps in the boxes and transitions, which are the arrows here between the boxes. So in ACE Essentials, what we've done is we've kind of set up this whole workflow for a controlled document, for example, and it's kind of, hey, fully validated, ready to go. In ACE, on the other hand, this whole workflow can be completely blown up, start from scratch, right? We can take out any number of steps that we might want to. We can add in 20 steps, 50 steps. We can change any of the transition options between individual steps. So that again, the process that the document or the CAPA or the learning course that we're writing is going to follow is really fitting into the company's exact needs. Moving one slide forward, we have a couple of bullet points, just kind of an overview of ACE. A lot of these are similar to ACE Essentials, being cloud-based, having an intuitive user interface. But one thing that I always like to point out is I've talked about documents and training and quality and supplier auditing and all these things that ACE can do. And one thing that I think is very unique about ACE and how it's provided is that there are no modules to purchase. In fact, we include all of those modules right out of the box from day one in your very first acquisition of ACE. And then really it's just a matter of configuring that module as you, the company, would see appropriate. So I have a number of companies that will acquire that full ACE system. We'll start with document management. We'll go through some configuration, and then we'll get that launched. And then maybe later we'll come around to learning management, and then later quality. Where again, hey, just that configuration, maybe some validation and launching. But there's no additional cost for modules or anything like that. And then the other thing that's always important to point out in ACE is there are far more options to limit permissions for users based on what role that user plays, what site that user's at, or what step they might play in a particular process. So it's quite possible, very possible in fact, to set up a number of different workflows, all for example a controlled document, but site A follows their own workflow and the people at site A only see that document type. Site B, hey, they follow their own process and they only see their document types. Site C, again, they have a third workflow, the one that fits them, and then their folks only see that workflow. Moving one slide forward, just some ideas of workflows that have been set up, commonly set up workflows in the full ACE system. Of course, along the left-hand side, we're basically seeing a number of the pre-configured workflows that are in ACE Essentials. But as we move over to the right, we're really seeing, as we're opening up that configurability and the number of workflows that we can make, gosh, you can do your full supplier auditing, tracking observations and SCARs in ACE, non-conformances, inspections, and requests. And then even over on the right, equipment management and calibration, tracking preventative maintenance. Again, hey, if it's a workflow that we can put on a whiteboard or a napkin, it can be replicated step for step in ACE. Moving on to Audit Utopia, so a little change of gears here. Before, we've been talking about quality management and a number of different aspects of quality management that can be performed in ACE Essentials or ACE. Audit Utopia is a little bit unique. It really is a system that's purpose-built to fit one requirement. It fulfills that one requirement really well, but it doesn't have the ability to expand out to do document management, for example, like ACE would. So Audit Utopia is for inspection management, audit management. And we really developed this because we found that this was really a solution that was totally missing from the market. A lot of the times you have the FDA show up on site. We'd find companies are using a mixture of instant message chat for scribe notes. They're using Excel or whiteboards to track requests. And these systems aren't really talking. They're not updating in real time. And it takes a lot of work to stay on top of this more manual process. So Audit Utopia, moving one slide forward, is going to take all of these different aspects of managing a regulatory inspection or a client inspection or audit. And it's going to bring it all into one system. So all of our scribe notes, creating our requests, assigning those out, along with notifications, exporting reports, and then also being able to take the information captured and turn that into some metrics and graphs to lead into the day meetings. Again, kind of built for those that one situation, but very good at filling that one need. right? Of course, on this slide, what we're going to be seeing is an example of what Audit Utopia looks like. A dashboard here in this case, just to get an idea of not only the types of data that can be captured for the requests, but what can be done with that data. So the two graphs that I really like are that graph in the right, where we're taking all of those requests in that inspection and we're breaking them out by classification so that we can really see, whoa, the focus of this inspection is very much in document control, is I think what that highest bar is. And then the lower left is my other favorite graph because I'm getting a feeling of workload of the team. How many active requests are assigned to each member of the team taking part in that inspection? Where I can look and see, wow, a couple members of our team have 50 active requests assigned to them. We should maybe get those folks some help, and definitely should not assign them to any more new requests that are coming across. Moving forward one slide. That really wraps up our software division and group. At this point, I'm going to hand this over to Brandon to talk about our professional services. But while we're doing the transition, maybe a good time to see, are there any questions from the group on the software solutions that I covered?
I don't see any in the chat right now, but if anyone wants to raise their hand and put it in the chat or unmute themselves, feel free to do that as well.
Awesome. Well, then I will hand it over to Brandon. And of course, if any of those questions come across, happy to take them as they come, or maybe we could save them up for the end of the PowerPoint as well.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. So I'll be covering the professional service side. So like we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we've been providing clients professional services for over 25 years now. So what we'll end up doing is just kind of giving a high level of some of those professional services along with the discount that bio members receive. So transition to the next slide, please. So in regards to the professional services, our consulting wing, one of the things that I do want to bring up is our consultants are full-time employees, unlike some of the companies out there where, you know, a consultant is coming in, working on a project, and then basically they move on. Our consultants work with us full-time. They just move from one project to the next. That's one of the nice things with working with over 1,000 clients worldwide, is we always got projects ready for them. And a lot of times what we do is we'll pair up that consultant with that particular client to ensure that they continue to get that same person over and over, depending upon the client's needs. So with that being said, we'll go through each category. So from a professional service side, we provide computerized system and software validation. That is above and beyond our software solutions that we provide. So we can integrate into any ERP or MRP system. So take, for example, like SAP or Delta V or any of those type of systems that you're utilizing at your site. We have experience in working with those and validating those. We also perform data integrity audits, data integrity support from the software side, software integration. So that can include integrating the computer system that's on your processing tank to your current document management system if you're not utilizing it. So we do validation of other document systems. We're doing that right now on multiple projects where we're validating some of our friendly competitors' software at a client site. And we are actually at a preferred, we actually do the validation of one of our friendly competitors' software system for them internally. So they outsource their software validation to us. We also do software optimization. So we're looking at what you currently have in site and doing a gap assessment to make sure that it meets the requirements by the FDA. And if not, then we can do that validation work to make sure that you'll pass an FDA inspection from a validation standpoint. And then any type of equipment validation from a software perspective. So a lot of these pieces of equipment, whether they're laboratory or production related, they'll have their own software platform on them that usually then talk to a LIMS system or whatever other system there might be. We can do that validation on that piece of equipment along with the API, which is the talking version between those two different pieces of equipment to talk to each other. And then from a commissioning and qualification validation standpoint, we do every type of project from a greenfield CQV project, which is a greenfield, you know, obviously is a build out of an entire facility, to a project as simple as just moving some laboratory equipment from one side of a facility to another, and you've got to revalidate that piece of equipment. Production suite commissioning. So if you're going to just add a single room for a new process, we can go in and do that type of validation work. Or decommissioning of a particular production site or room, we do that. All the way to cleaning validation and facility qualification. And then in regards to quality assurance and compliance, we do have special consultants that get involved in helping companies either respond to a 483 by the FDA. So when the FDA comes in, they leave a laundry list of things that a client might need to correct. We'll help them with that. We've also helped some of our clients with warning letter remediation. So we'll go in and help them put together a risk assessment, provide that to the FDA, along with the corrective actions, and ensure that all those corrective actions meet the requirements by the FDA. And with that, we'll perform those various risk assessments, as mentioned. We do environmental monitoring program analysis and creation. So we actually have on our staff, a authored PDA author that has one of the best-selling books on microbiology. So we have a whole team that really focuses in on micro-laboratory consulting. And then from a technical writing standpoint, we've gone into some of our clients that are startups that have zero SOPs, zero documents, and zero forms, and we'll actually build their entire quality system for them. It just really depends upon the client's needs. And some of that can be as writing reports and technical documents, and some of the, like we mentioned, the FDA responsive. So we've got the expertise to help clients there. Next slide, please. So another portion of our company is really doing those supplier audits, because a lot of the small to mid-sized companies, they might not have an auditing team that can go out and perform those audits on their suppliers. We actually have an entire team that's focused on doing that. And we go all the way from, you know, South America to China to all over Europe. And that's one of the nice things about us being a global organization, is we've got auditors located in those regions to really help a client be more cost efficient when it comes to that. We do audits of their facility and or laboratory to really help them with a PAI prep. So pre-approval inspection by the FDA. We'll go in and we'll do an audit as though we're the FDA to find those gaps before you ever have to have the FDA come in and perform an audit. That way you've got a clean, hopefully a clean bill of health prior to that inspection. And that also includes the gap assessments and finding all those various gaps that you might need help with. From a regulatory affairs standpoint, we help various clients in regards to the submissions they perform, whether it be their drug master files or their new drug applications, BLA submissions. So a lot of support is needed by clients, and we can help fill that gap that they might have. Not every startup and mid-sized company has a whole regulatory affairs department. They might have one person that's able to deal with the day-to-day, but when they're trying to launch a new product or dealing with any type of FDA questions, we're there to help out. And then in regards to calibration, we have an entire metrology team that really focuses in on helping clients with calibration of equipment. We also do equipment rentals and sales. Those would be like air particulate counters, thermal mapping, equipment, and we also can perform those as a service to our clients as thermal mapping of chambers, whether it be coolers, freezers, stability chambers. We have that expertise to help out. And then from a project management standpoint, when companies are growing, a lot of times they're built to deal with their day-to-day activities, but we can come in and help be the middle person between the construction companies, the engineering firms, and ensure that the project is successful and meets all the timelines. So we provide that service. We've actually had clients come to us asking, do you know of a site that we can buy and or, do you mind going and performing an audit of this site that we're looking at acquiring prior to us acquiring it, to really look at it from a quality standpoint, from a layout standpoint, and we have that expertise in-house also. So if you don't mind. So in regards to the bio business solution aspect of our quality or of our professional services, the computer system and software validation, like I mentioned, that can be for any type of piece of equipment that requires that validation. Bio members receive a 10% discount on all of our consulting services. And that can include a wide range of different software solutions that are currently on premise, and or if they're looking to expand the use of that system within their site, we've got the expertise to come in and make sure that it meets the current FDA guidelines for their needs. So as you can see, that's a wide range of different aspects from electronic document management system validation. Even if they're not using our system, we can help them there. Laboratory to quality management systems to even some of the plant maintenance asset systems that are out there, like the Siemens system or Delta B. We have expertise in providing that type of validation work. Next one. So this actually goes through the bio member discount. So from a software standpoint, it's a 15% discount from the list price, whether it be ACE Essentials, ACE, Audit Utopia. That also includes 15% discount on the configuration, the setup, everything that's needed to get a client into a fully validated system. And then there's always a 45-day free trial for those. What we always suggest is doing a demo first, and then we can set up an instance where the client can go in there and actually play with the system prior to purchasing the system. And then on the computer system validation services, that is a 10% discount on top of, once a proposal and the scope of work is worked out, we end up providing that 10% discount for all bio members. And I believe the next slide just is really a kind of a chance for us to stop, see if there's any questions. These are just some of the various testimonials, whether it be from software or professional services that we've received through the just the last couple of years. Obviously, we didn't put all the 25 years worth of testimonials, but we just wanted to kind of put some out there. So with that, Michelle, I think we can open it up for questions or see if there's any comments from the people on the line.
Yeah, I don't have any questions from the chat box, but definitely if anybody has any, or can always answer those later too as well.
So one thing I will mention is we've seen companies as small as 5 people utilize our software solutions to companies as large as a Pfizer or a Merck. So it just really, that's what's unique about ACE Essentials, is it's really geared towards those smaller to mid-sized companies. Jasmine and I just had a conversation, I think it was about a week and a half ago, where a company with only 5 people just went through their first FDA inspection. And we ended up talking to them about Audit Utopia and ACE Essentials. Now it looks as though they're going to be moving to one of those platforms to really help them out. While some of the larger companies, top 4 or 5 pharma companies in the world are utilizing our software solutions on a global basis. So it's really adaptable to the various organizations within bio.
Hey, Michelle,
If,
this is
okay,
Pete Fry with Bio. I think Kelly Gillespie is still on the line. I think wanted me to kind of throw a little capstone on us if I can.
awesome. Thank you.
Great. Everyone, my name is Peter Fry. I'm the National Business Development Director for Bio and the Bio Business Solutions. So this program is actually run by Bio. We put this out to a full RFP late last year, went through a rigorous review process, terms and conditions, and selected PSC Bio as best in class for the QMS inspection management program. I think, as you can see, it does deliver value. The life science companies across the U.S. Were asking for this, so we brought this forth and believe this is something of value to members. I want to clarify something, and this is no fault to Brandon. It's just a vernacular. Just want to be clear for those MoBio members. This is available to MoBio members. You do not have to be a member of Bio. The Bio organization out of DC manages the programs, but these we offer to our state affiliates. So Kelly Gillespie was kind enough to endorse this program. So if you're a MoBio member, you get access to this. There's no additional cost either to access this. Your membership with MoBio gets you entree into the discounted pricing as right there. Thank you very much, as well as the free trial. So this is a member benefit. This is also one of 13 cost-saving options that Kelly and his team have available to MoBio members. So things like Office Depot, Airgas, UPS. So there's a total of 13 programs. You might want to look if you're not using some of those, or ask one of the members on Kelly's team to inquire about them. But again, these are member benefits of Missouri Bio. And last and not least, revenue that we get off these programs, whether it's through PSC or Office Depot or Airgas, portions of these revenues go back to the state affiliates, in this case, back to MoBio, to help support Kelly and his team in the various things they do for the life science community in Missouri, whether it's networking, whether it's advocacy, whether it's educational or marketing. These things help support the expenses that Kelly needs and incurs as a part of his great efforts he does in the state of Missouri. So kind of think of this too. If you're a member of MoBio, you're kind of keeping the money in the life science ecosystem that helps support Kelly and his team. And I think I'll turn it back to Michelle. If there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
Thank you for that, Peter.
Peter, thanks for providing that capstone, and to Brandon and Jasmine and Monica and the entire PSC Biotech team for providing this brief introduction and important introduction about the offerings. We are recording this. We will have it available for other, I need to take my Hollywood sunglasses off. We'll be providing it to other MoBio members after some editing out of Kelly's portion of this. But I want to say, you know, the Bio Business Solutions program is very important. It is one of our most trusted relationships and important reasons for us staying just so absolutely close to National Bio. We've had a great relationship for over 15 years. Their programs are top-notch. They're vetted by not only their advisory team, but oftentimes most of these programs have 40 to 45 co-endorsers taking the savings program nationally. The program money that comes in from Bio Business Solutions is its own individual line in MoBio's budget and is reviewed and approved by MoBio's board of directors. And lastly, MoBio Breakthrough will be back July 18th, I believe. Is that correct, Michelle? No. August 18th.
No, August.
Okay, August 18th. And Dr. Rick Nettles from Johnson & Johnson, their chief medical officer, will be providing us an update on their efforts at vaccine development, as well as the entire industry's approach to continuing to work just as collaboratively as possible in this fight against COVID and getting a vaccine done for Americans and really patients around the world. I saw the presentation a couple days ago, another one that he did, and really excited about that speaker as well. And we thank you for joining us today. Anything else from Jasmine's team?
Yeah, this is Brandon. I just want to, thank you for the time to go through the solution. And if there's any questions or, if anyone's interested in a demo, we can definitely provide that. And we look forward to working with MoBio. Like I said, I'm here in St. Louis. Monica is here local in Missouri also. So we're here available for you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Appreciate it.